Welcome back to the Cumbie Show. We tell like it is and we don't care how you feel. And ladies and gentlemen, we have finally made it. College football is back, baby. Week 0 this week. I'm recording this video on the Sunday before, so we are less than 7 days until we actually have college football back on our TV. Man, I cannot wait. The longest offseason of any sport is over. Let's get to it. What I'm going to do is go through the week 0 games. Every week I'm going to have a video where I take the 10 best games of the week, do a preview of them, say who I'm going to give you my pick on who I think is going to win. And then at the end of the season, what I want to do is keep track each week of my wins and losses, who I got right, what I got wrong, and see what my record is at the end of the season, see if I actually know ball. So let's start with week 0. There's not 10 games this week because it is week 0, so not every school is playing, but there's still some good matchups. Honestly, at this point, you could have 2 new schools that I've never heard of. You put it on TV, I'm going to watch it because we're all desperate. So let's start with it. We'll get things kicked off with North Carolina versus TCU. This is a neutral site game in Ireland. Last year, I believe it was FSU and Georgia Tech. They're starting to do these. We saw it a lot in the NFL where they'll go over to England, to the UK. College football is doing this with the Ireland game. I think this is a fun matchup. I am very interested in this game. North Carolina versus TCU in Dublin. TCU right now is at a 7.5 point favorite, and the over-under is 47.5 points. So that is bound to change. We have a full week until the games actually start. So those numbers could change, but right now, TCU is sitting at a 7.5 point favorite. Can't wait for that. I mean, Bill Belichick, we'll see how he does in year 2 as head coach. Moving on, San Jose State at USC. I think, not going to be much of a matchup for USC, but nonetheless, it's college football. USC is a 38.5 point favorite, and then the over-under is 59.5 points. Next, NC State at Virginia. I'm excited for this game. This is a 3:30 kickoff in Virginia. Virginia is a 5.5 point favorite, and the over-under is 53.5. So, fun game there. Next, we got Jacksonville State at North Dakota State. Again, this is 5:30 kickoff on CBS Network, so if you're a fan of one of those teams, check it out. It'll be at 5:30. North Dakota State is a 7.5 point favorite, and the over-under is 46.5 points for that game. Again, Sacramento State on the road at Eastern Michigan. That's a 6:30 p.m. kickoff on ESPN+, so you will need to have the streaming service to be able to watch that. Eastern Michigan is a 9.5 point favorite, and the over-under is 52.5 points. And Hawaii on the road at Stanford, 7 o'clock kickoff on the ACC Network. Line is Stanford is a 5.5 point favorite, and the over-under is 49.5 points. And then New Mexico State at FSU. Our good buddy, the Noles, have a 7 o'clock kickoff game on the CW Network. FSU is a 31.5 point favorite at home, hopefully. And the over-under is 53.5 points for that game. And then the final game of week 0 is Memphis on the road at UNLV. UNLV is a 5.5 point favorite. Over-under for that is 57.5 points. So that are the games for week 0. Not 10 games because not every school is playing, but we still have college football. What are my games of the week for this? I can't really choose 10, and I don't want to go through all of these games because, Jacksonville State at North Dakota State. Sure, I'll turn it on because football's on, but I'm not going to be really invested in that. My games of the week, I think, is the first one I brought up. North Carolina versus TCU in Ireland. One, for obvious reasons, it's Ireland. It was a great venue last year. It was a great game to watch last year. I think this is going to be a good game. You got Bill Belichick and his underage girlfriend. Just kidding, she's not actually underage, but basically a child out there. I think she's running the program more than Bill Belichick is. Look, I hate this for Bill Belichick. I mean, he did tremendous things with the Patriots. To go and take a head coaching job at a college level, I thought was a mistake. Those are 2 very different jobs, between being a head coach in the pros and being a head coach in college football. 2 completely different things. And I do kind of feel like maybe his tenure at North Carolina has somewhat tanked his eliteness. Definitely not in the pros because you'll never be able to take that away from him. But it's just been a disaster for North Carolina and Bill Belichick there. I would not expect him to be there much longer. He will probably step down himself. But North Carolina's got to cut ties with him and move on. Either way, interested in that game. Like I said, TCU is a 7.5-point favorite. I'm actually going to take the Frogs to win this, and I think that they cover. I just don't have a lot of faith in North Carolina and Bill Belichick. They struggled last year. I think they have the potential of being even worse this year. TCU should win, and they should cover that 7.5 points. My second game of the week that I'm very interested, I cannot wait to see, is NC State at Virginia. Early ACC matchup. Very interested in this. Virginia is a 5.5-point favorite, so a little bit of a closer game. I think this has the potential of being a very tight game going late into the fourth quarter. I think CJ Bailey, though, could make this game interesting for NC State. So a lot of key factors. There's a lot of questions still up for both of these teams, especially since it's the start of the season. I am going to take Virginia, though, to win this game, primarily because it is a home game for them. 3:30 kickoff, so not a night game, but give me Virginia to beat NC State at home with an ACC win, conference win, good win for Virginia. Final game of the week, I'm choosing 3 games of the week. My biggest games that I'm most excited for is New Mexico State at FSU. And you're probably thinking, why that game? Why not Hawaii and Stanford? Why not Memphis and UNLV? I think Memphis and UNLV is going to be a fun game. But the reason being why I'm so interested in watching this game, even though Florida State should win, they are a 31.5-point favorite. It's a home game for them. Florida State is a dumpster fire right now. They're not even a dumpster fire. They are beyond a dumpster fire. They are what was a dumpster that was on fire for several years, and somebody finally came over and put it out of its misery and put the flames out. They are what's left over from that dumpster fire. Norvell should have been fired. Flat out, Mike Norvell should have been fired last year. The fact that he's still a head coach with FSU is an absolute shit show. I'm curious to see what this transfer quarterback is going to do for them. Florida State does really rely on the transfer portal in general. They transfer in a ton of players from the portal year in and year out. And it just hasn't really clicked. You obviously had the one really good year back in, what was it? Now I'm going to hate myself that I forget. Was it 2023 where they went undefeated and were left out of the playoffs? I get being mad. I thought that they got snubbed too. They went undefeated, won their conference championship. They should have got into the playoffs, but it is what it is. They played my dogs in a bowl game and they got their ass whooped. But point being, I'm very interested in this game because I want to see how Florida State responds. Now, I don't think they're going to be as bad as last year. At least I hope not. I'm partial to FSU. I got a lot of buddies who are big FSU fans. I've lived in Florida for over 10 years. Moved up to Georgia here not too long ago. But either way, point being is I'm curious to see how they respond from last year. It was a letdown. They had the big emotional win against Bama, and then they just fell off a cliff. They just collapsed. Players quit. They did not look like they even wanted to be there. It looked like everyone on that field had no idea what football was. That's how bad it was. They're bringing in a transfer quarterback from Auburn and Stanford, Ashton Daniels. He's actually from Buford, Georgia, right up the road from me. I'm very curious to see how he's going to do. 2025, I mean, he's got okay numbers. I don't even really want to use okay. His best year was 2023, where he threw for 325 yards, 11 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. Here's the scary part, or if I was an FSU fan, what I'd be nervous with, is that he can turn the ball over a lot. 2023, he had 8 interceptions. 2024, it went up to 12. 2025, he didn't play all that much. He only had 68 attempts, so he threw for 797 yards. only 2 interceptions, so that's good to see. That did go down. I said earlier that he threw for 325 yards. That's not right. He threw for 2,247 yards in 2023. So by far his best year. He had 325 attempts through the air. So I'm very curious to see this game. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that make some wild pick that FSU is going to lose this game. No, I'm taking the Noles to win. They are sitting at a 31.5 point favorite. Do they cover that? That's a lot of points to me. I think they really could, especially with it being a home game. Maybe they take out some frustration on New Mexico State. But hey, don't fuck around, FSU. Don't mess around and find yourself in a close game late in the fourth because you're going to get clowned. I'm going to take FSU in that, so give me the Noles to win there. I don't know if they cover. That's a lot of points to cover. I really want to see how this quarterback plays to start things out before I pick FSU to cover a 31.5 point spread. Who else do I got? I've already said I'm taking TCU in the North Carolina game. Give me USC to beat San Jose State. I've already said I'm taking Virginia to beat North Carolina or NC State at home. I'm taking North Dakota State to beat Jacksonville State at home. Give me them. I'm also taking Eastern Michigan to get the win against Sacramento State. You know, they are a 9.5 point favorite. Hawaii at Stanford. Give me Stanford. I don't think any of these two teams are going to be good between Hawaii and Stanford. It is a home game for Stanford. It's a night game there. I think the atmosphere is going to be really good. It's the atmosphere for all of these games are going to be great. It's the first game of the season, so every fan base is going to be excited. Give me Stanford for the sole fact that it's a home game for them. I already said I'm taking the Noles to beat New Mexico State. And Memphis at UNLV. This game is a 10 o'clock kickoff on Fox. Yes, I will be up watching that game. Give me UNLV. They are a 5.5 point favorite to beat Memphis. I think I'm actually taking all home teams. That might be a mistake, actually. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 games. I'm taking all home teams. That could be a problem. I'm sure I'm going to trip up somewhere. Please don't let it be FSU. Oh, my goodness. If it's FSU, Sunday is going to be a hard day for you, Noles. But that's what I'm taking. TCU, USC, Virginia, North Dakota State, Eastern Michigan, Stanford, Florida State, UNLV. Those are my winners. Hopefully, I have a perfect 8-0 after week 0. We'll come back. After all these games are played, I will do a recap on Sunday, basically just going through all the highlights, talk about clown shows of the week, you know, people that kind of shit the bed. Maybe it might be FSU. But, guys, it's here. College football is back. We're less than 6 days away from the start of the season where we will have college football on our TV screens. I'm excited. I'm going to be here all season long making all kinds of videos. So if you're new to my channel, check it out. I do nothing but college football. Subscribe down below. Leave me a comment down below what you think is going to happen, who you think is going to win. Let me know if I'm wrong or right. Other than that, over and out.